Here with 65 kilogram Olympian Zain Retherford. Zain, man, the first thing I wanted to ask you about, the last chance qualifier. When did it finally sink in, the level of, not just that you were an Olympian, but the gauntlet you had to run to do that? I mean, seven matches, 6 wins is insane and really unprecedented in senior level wrestling. When did it like sink in, like, man, I just did something that's pretty insane?
I was honestly just grateful for the chance to wrestle back. That was the first time that I ever lost at a tournament in freestyle and got pulled back into repechage. So to even have that chance, I'm like, let's go. And then I saw the bracket the next day after weigh-ins that some guys would be fresh. I'm like, hey, I just got to think about one thing at a time. So one thing at a time. I knew that the Indian opponent that I wrestled was solid, so I was looking forward to wrestling him. But again, just one position, one thing at a time. Then it set in, I guess, finally after the last maybe 15 seconds of that match that I had. It was like, wow, this is reality. I'm excited for this.
Yeah. How does the body feel after a grind like that?
Yeah, trials and then right into that. My body held up, so I was super grateful for that. And then, actually a week after the tournament is when I started to feel like, oh wow, that hurts a little bit. But I'm good. We took a week, my wife and I, and son went down to Florida before training camp here and stuff, and body feels good, mind feels good, so.
That's great. A lot of questions around you coming into the trials was 65. How can you function, compete the way you win the trials and do that? But to have another opportunity to test yourself at 65, how much confidence does that give you in the games? Because your energy looked as high as I've ever seen down at 65, 2 days in a row.
Yeah, the Olympic trials was my first time down to weight since 21, so that was a good trial run, I guess, in state college, so I was grateful for that. And then Turkey, first international trip down to weight, and so my body responded great to it, and now I kind of know what to expect. Some of those later stages of when I'm actually making weight and like getting off the scale also, I wasn't sure how I would feel, and my recovery is great. Luckily, we have a great game plan at Penn State Inline Wrestling Club, so just put my trust into that, and I'm going to feel good again.
Yeah. In the lead up and after the trials, you kind of talked about, like, you were wrestling with, am I going to continue, am I going to stop? Do you think that kind of confronting that, I am going to continue, I'm not going to retire just yet, did that give you maybe not an advantage, but an added boost? Like, okay, it kind of refined why you were competing. Was that an advantage for you?
For sure. Prior years, I think I was looking at wrestling more like an obligation. Sounds weird to say, but I think I had a lot of my worth tied up into my performance, and just not a healthy place to compete. Don't feel your best. So this last cycle, not knowing if I would compete this year, my worth isn't tied to my performance. It's just, this is icing on the cake at this point. And I'm doing this because I genuinely enjoy competing, and I've actually enjoyed the weight cut, as weird as it says, because it's been challenging, but it's just challenged me in the right ways, and I've grown a lot the past few years, so just grateful for it, and it's been fun.
Yeah, your growth is also evident just on the mat itself. Someone that you made your first world team after your junior year in college, made one in 19. How different is Zain Retherford now as a wrestler from that 2019 when you last represented America at 65?
I think I've gotten better on my feet, but a lot of it is like I had some skills from folk style that I didn't trust fully in freestyle yet. So kind of figuring out how can I like driving legs, how can I implement the things that I was good at in folk style into freestyle. I think I went away from that for a good bit, and then recently I've just been experimenting. We're around a great group of people that is always experimenting, creating techniques that work, and so kind of molded the two styles together for what works for me, and that's kind of what I've landed to right now.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously paying off in a major way. Next question is kind of just about the field in general, and maybe your reaction to the news about Russia not competing. Mamedov is one of the tougher guys at the bracket. What was your reaction when you heard that news?
Not surprised, because I already saw that some of the, Sidakov and Sajalayev weren't competing, so don't blame them. It's unfortunate that they can't go in general, because Russia not wrestling in the Olympics, takes out some of the better guys for
Yeah.
sure. So I would love the chance to wrestle him. It's a shame that politics get involved with sports, but it's where we live in. So just can't focus on it, can't dwell on it. Just go compete and enjoy the experience.
All right, so there's another wrestler I want to talk to you about, Ismail Musakayev. This guy's the reigning world champion, maybe one of the more entertaining guys, one of the unique guys. Often has demonstrated a really questionable gas tank at times, but he's got incredible technique and burst and does some things that no one really does. How much have you thought about that matchup potentially, and specifically how your pace and physicality would go against someone like Musakayev?
Yeah, matchups are interesting in wrestling. I don't know. I haven't wrestled him yet. I've seen, other Americans wrestle him, and it'll be interesting. There's a chance I don't even wrestle him at all. So, got to prepare for that also. So, I'm truthfully aware of who's in the bracket, what some of their strengths are. A guy like him, a guy like Ochier that I wrestled. I actually wrestled him, so I got a feel of that already. But yeah, just focused on, I'm not sure who's going to be there, what's waiting for me when I get there, what the draw is going to look like. All that stuff's out of my control, and just focus on my techniques and executing those.
Yeah, when you think about your weapons, the weapons that Zain Retherford brings to a match, how much of a weapon do you view your pace and physicality outside of your great technique?
It's something that I've recently brought in, I guess. I've felt that a lot of the opponents that I've wrestled the past few years don't like it. So, I think just keep hammering that, and it's something, it's not taking me out of, it's just me being authentic. Like I've always enjoyed having a higher pace, so why change? So implementing that in freestyle now has been great, and looking forward to doing it some more.
What did it mean to win that world title at 70 kilograms? You were silver the year before, to get on top and finish with that gold medal around your neck, for your confidence into this tournament.
Yeah, I've been wrestling against the best in the world for years. So to be able to medal in 2022, win last year in 2023, is a big confidence boost. It's, I belong here, and I'm excited to compete against these guys.
Yeah. What did you take away from the Ochier match from Mongolia? He's definitely another guy that brings a really unique skill set to the table.
Yeah, he's a stud, and it was great to feel. Obviously, he's got good underhooks and stuff like that, so got to feel those. I think I got to his leg. The one time I got to his leg, I finished a shot, so just need to do that some more, not hang out in his tie-ups. It's the same thing with anyone else. Get to my positions, get to my shots, keep up my pace. He had a great gas tank, which is great, and yeah, good takeaways. I'm glad I wrestled him because I got to feel this guy has good underhooks. Still got to get to my positions, and at the end of the day, it was one position right at the end of the match. So not letting it get there, taking care of business beforehand.
Yeah. Who are some of your main training partners right now?
I wrestle anybody. But Nick Lee, David Evans, a few Penn State guys, Imran, Hurd, a lot of Penn State guys that are around my weight class. So grateful that they've been helping me a ton. With the weight descent, wrestling guys my size has been helping me kind of maintain my weight. I used to wrestle bigger guys more, especially at 70. I'd wrestle guys like Messenbrink more and Levi, and I do that more selectively now because my weight goes like this if I do that too often.
Really?
Yeah.
And do you feel like it helps just from the speed perspective, just because 65 guys are quicker than the 74s generally?
Yeah, it does actually. And, you can get, I think training, you got to wrestle guys that are lighter than you, your size, maybe a little bigger, kind of get a variety if you can.
Yeah.
And you get a different feel. This guy's a little stronger, and if he's bigger, or this guy's maybe a little quicker if he's smaller. Trying not to use my strength, trying to match their speed. So it's a good test anyway.
Yeah. As you look back in like 21 and the weight, was there actual tactical changes you made in how you made this weight class that have helped you?
For sure, yeah, just leaning into Coach Cody Sanderson, some of the advice that he's given. Training lab, we work with him, Coach Calvita. There's been, a few things that we've changed up. Mainly is just, I enjoy lifting weights and haven't been doing it too much because I start doing it, my muscles are like, let's go. So, I just can't. But I've been enjoying the changes. started getting more into running, cycling, fasted cardio in the mornings, doing that multiple days a week, where before that wouldn't be a thought. I would lift. So, yeah, it's been good changes, but my body's responding to it.
That's great. Final question, the one I'm asking all the Olympians. It's about coaching youth wrestling, and it's kind of a two-part question. But the first one is, what do you view as the essential skills to teach a young wrestler, a first-year wrestler? And conversely, what are some of the mistakes you see made coaching youth wrestling that we should probably get away from?
First year wrestling, focus on getting them strong, focus on fundamentals. I know that's probably cliche to say, but it's true. If you teach someone correctly from the jump, they don't have bad habits. So just teaching them basic things: head position, hands. It's kind of human nature when someone's shooting at you to reach up and react. So like getting those habits in that are counterintuitive to human nature, maybe, that benefit wrestling. So fundamentals are huge. And honestly, shots are maybe overrated. A snap go behind, I would say, for a first year wrestler might be something I would focus on, because those get it done at the highest level, and I don't think they're touched on enough. So
awesome, Zain.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything else. Zain, do you have anything else before I let you go?
No, grateful for you guys. Excited for the summer.
Thanks so much, Zain.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Thank you.